Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a game mode. In the previous video we talked about level script actors, and we're going to do that same spawning, but instead do it in the game mode. So go to File, New C++ class, and I'll select this game mode base. Once again, the game mode defines the game being played, so rules, scoring, and so on. It's not an object that we will be interacting with. It kind of works in the background, and we use it to update the state of things in the game world. So let's say I have collectibles, for example. If your character runs through a pickup and picks up a collectible item, then you can send a message to the game mode that says, okay, add 1 to the amount of things that I have collected, or reduce the amount of collectibles that are left to be collected, for example. The game mode base is all we need for this. You can go and search here for game mode. You can see I have a few different ones. You have game mode right here, but these kind of have additional functionality, so we only need the game mode base for what we will be doing. So I'll select that, click next. I'll just leave it at my game mode base, that's fine, and I'll create that class. So after compiling, I have my game mode base.h and my game mode base.cpp. If those do not open up, you can go into your project under source and just open them up right here. So basically all we are going to do at this point is copy and paste what we already have from the level script actor that we have. So under level script actor, I have this here, the T sub plus of hchair, the chair to spawn. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to basically cut that out, and back in my game mode base.h, I'll just paste that in. Might want to go and create a public section for this. You remember that we had this for declaration. I'm not going to need it in this class anymore, so I'll just cut that out as well. And back in the game mode, I'll just paste that in. Now we're also going to need the begin play. So in this case, I'm just going to copy this instead of cutting this out, because if you look at the game mode, this does not have anything by default. We have to go and add that in. Okay, so we are done cutting out from the level script actor.h. I'll go back to the CPP file. Now we are not going to do a constructor in this case, so I'll just copy this begin play, and in my game mode base.cpp, I'm going to paste that begin play in. And of course what we need now is we need to make sure that we have this. So an easy way of doing that is double click on it, Control C, double click over here, Control V to override that. And now we don't have to go and type all of this stuff out. Back in the test level script actor.cpp, I'm actually just going to delete all of this. So everything but that super begin play. You can go and delete this, the begin play, but you might want to use it later on, so I'm just going to leave it in actually. So another thing I'd like to mention is you can change this. Now because chair to spawn, which is, remember we used this T subclass of, and we specified hchair, you can actually put hchair, so just Control C again. You can do Control V here as well to replace A actor, but this is an A actor, okay? So that's why that worked, and this will work fine as well. So I'll just change it here to be more specific of the particular type that I want. Alright, and if you remember, we need that include. Now we actually have it here, and since we are not going to use it in your custom level script actor anymore, I can just go and cut that out and paste it in here. So a lot of cutting and pasting. Again, you can just go and write this all out. You can actually leave the test level script actor alone if you want, but I don't want duplicate functionality in this case, so that when it spawns we know that it's going to work from the game mode. And because we have to clean this up anyway, we can now simply go and cut that out and paste it instead of just deleting it and then having to like type every line manually. Okay, so that is our my game mode base done. I simply have this U property under the public section. We have added the begin play, and we have defined the begin play function. Can we do super begin play? And then here we simply do that spawn actor again. So Control B to build that. Okay, so this build is completed. You can see succeeded. Sometimes once again you'll get these false warnings, alright, or false errors. But if it compiles fine, then that's okay. You can always go and check through here if you have any sort of deprecation or deprecated warnings, as I explained previously. But you can see this will never work right if it had all of those errors. But it compiles fine, so it'll actually work. Those are called or referred to as false positives or false errors. And I mentioned the copy and pasting because sometimes you won't remember, especially as a beginner, you won't exactly remember how to write this stuff out, right? So virtual void, begin play, override, and all of that. So where does everything go? What does the begin play function look like again? You might forget how to write or spell this stuff, because again, it's kind of case sensitive, right? So in that case, you might have some other actor open, such as chair.h for example. Then you'll see, okay, this is what that begin play looks like. Go to the .cpp. Here we have the begin play. We do super begin play and so on. You can just copy and paste as well and just make sure to change this here, as we have done it right here. So that's fine now. I'll open up the editor. If I click play now, we won't have any chairs spawning because I've removed that functionality. Now we can go to Edit, Project Settings. I'll just dock that, Maps and Modes, and then you can go and select My Game Mode Base. Another place you can change this is clicking the Settings drop down. Here you have the Project Settings and the World Settings. So My tab opens up over here. You can see under Game Mode, you have a Game Mode override. So you can choose My Game Mode Base right here. So with My Game Mode Base selected, if I click play, nothing will actually spawn. And that's because if I open up Visual Studio again, we have used this. And in the My Game Mode Base.cpp, it will spawn that chair to spawn. So previously we instantiated an object or returned an object using that a static class, that weird function that I showed you previously. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to right click on My Game Mode Base and I'm going to create a blueprint. And I'll do that under the Blueprints folder. Click Create Class. Blueprint class, that is. Okay, so that will open up. And with it selected, you will see we have none under chair to spawn, which is why we don't spawn anything. If I click this drop down, you can see we have a really nice, really short list. We only have two options. We can choose to instantiate basically the C++ class or the blueprint instance. Now, since it's set up properly in C++, I'm just going to choose the C++ version of that. Compile and save. That's compiled successfully. I'll just save everything again. I click play now, and nothing will happen. We have to actually go and change that. So in the world settings now, I have to go and make sure that this game mode override is set to that blueprint. So my game mode base underscore blueprint, I kind of forgot to remove that first my, it seems. So left click on that. That's fine for this demonstration here. With that said, click play, and now our actor will spawn again. That is functionality that is written into our game mode. I just wanted to show you quickly how you can create a game mode, how you can actually do something with the game mode, something that you might not want to do necessarily in the level script actor, in a custom level script actor. Okay, another quick tip for you before we move on is sometimes you open up your project, so the Unreal Editor, and you don't have Visual Studio open yet. So I'll go to that blueprint, My Game Mode Base blueprint, and let's say I make some changes, and at some point I decide that I want to open this up in Visual Studio again to add some code. So what you can do is you can go and open up Visual Studio, again File, open Visual Studio and so on. But the quicker way is up here you can see the parent class, and you can just left click on that and you can see it opens up Visual Studio and it opens up that file. If I go to Blueprints, open the level blueprint, that won't actually show up here, but it does show up in the game mode and in some other classes as well. You'll see the parent class right here. So a similar thing with this chair blueprint. Double click on that to open the blueprint, and you can see the parent class chair. Left click on that and it will jump to that in Visual Studio. Okay, so just to clean up a bit, I'll go and rename this because I made a bit of a mistake. Rename. Just make sure that is my game mode base underscore BP for blueprint. My eyes are not what they used to be, I'll tell you. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll go back to the world settings and just make sure this is updated. So it's set to my game mode base underscore BP. If you named it properly the first time, you would not have to do that. In the world outliner, I'll go and search for game mode, and you'll see we don't have any matching actors. Now as soon as I click play, this will spawn this my game mode base. I'll just stop that and that will remove it again. So that again is not something that we interact with. It is basically there to keep track of what is going on in your game world, so the scoring and so forth.